on one side. Now we're
Okay. Call to order the Building Grounds Transportation Committee meeting. Roll call. Mr. Granlund?
Here.
Mr. Hirsch?
Here.
And myself. The notice of this meeting was posted on the district webpage and posted throughout the district according to the school board policy. We are going to discuss the possible purchase of new buses.
So yes, I'd like to take that, we're gonna talk about purchasing new buses, I guess is the best way I'll put it. So, as I alluded to in our annual meeting, I built the budget to have some capital expenses in it. And those capital expenses would be in relation to two buses that we need to start looking at replacing. So, Mr. Amos, our transportation director, is to my left here, and we are specifically looking at our activity buses, our white buses that are coming to the end of their life. As the board is aware, we put those up for bid as part of the auction process with our obsolete buses for us anyway, and they did not meet the minimum bid, so we are running those this year, but they did not magically get younger and have less miles. So we need to put a plan into place to try to fix that issue. That's not going to go away. So Mr. Amos and myself can kind of look at different options. Mr. Amos, you kind of want to talk about what we're thinking about doing from your neck of the woods. That would be great.
Okay, I'll just let you know right now, we have 14 propane buses on all our routes right now. We have 4 diesel spares. That's all we have right now. We started the year off with 6 diesel spares. One of them is totally out of service right now. Mark Mignot calls it goes into D rate, where the computers are failing on it. And so we basically took our bus number 11 out of service. When he did, he called Wisconsin Bus. It would cost $12,000 just to repair that bus. And there's no guarantee that that bus, that's all the problems with it. So we could put $12,000 into a bus that a year from now we couldn't use anymore anyway. So we know what we get for buses when they go into surplus, and it's not going to be $12,000. So basically, one of our buses, another one that's really close to going into D rate, we actually use as our rescue bus. Last year, we didn't need a rescue bus. We had one time we had a bus stuck. So, so really that puts us down to 4 spare buses that we're able to use. The idea that we would like to get, I think right now we'd like to put our money into getting 2 yellow trip buses. They would go back into being, they would be a regular bus, regular seating, 77 passenger. They would have the overhead luggage racks inside, but they would not have any luggage racks underneath, like our white buses. All our trip buses, as long as I've been here, have had underneath storage.
Under cab storage.
We talked to Brian Smith a little bit about that with Cody, and they're really, with us pulling a trailer, there's really no need for the under storage. Everything, like when we take football, everything fits in that trailer. So the plus side of getting yellow buses, they would be gasoline buses. We have gasoline storage at our transportation department. And if we go on long trips, it'd be very easy to fuel them buses without having to go miles and miles and miles like we have with our propane buses right now.
And gasoline is better than diesel because it won't gel up, correct?
Yeah, and the problem with diesel right now that the requirements as far as the exhaust system are getting worse and worse and worse. They're bad now, and they're just, the people that make our propane buses, Roush, won't even make it. They got out of the diesel business because they don't even want to go down the road. The government does not want diesel buses anymore. So they're making the pollution standards harder and harder. But diesel would probably be better fuel mileage, but gasoline, I think, is going to be the way for the future here. Gas and propane.
Okay. So our current trip buses are propane. I think everybody's aware of that, and they've served us well. The issue is not the life of them or the expectancy of them. The issue is just finding places to fuel them when we're out of town. So the gas version of things will allow us to fuel up basically anywhere, if we are out of town. And the reason why I want to put yellow on there and make them actual, have the lights, have all the stop arms, all the requirements that a regular route bus would have in the event that that bus is not going anywhere. We can use it in the fleet as a spare, essentially, assuming that we're not heading anywhere with it. So it gives us a little bit of a stopgap on that aspect of things as well. The options that we have are to buy, to lease, to take out a loan. We have loans on our 2 buses currently that we're running, which I will work to pay off soon. But what my recommendation is from a financial side of things, Bluebird works closest with Wells Fargo. They have a couple of different programs, lease to own programs. A 3-year option with a small balloon payment of $1 at the end of it. A 3-year option with a larger balloon payment at the end of it if we want to keep them. And then a 5-year option with both as well, with a smaller balloon payment at the end, actually own it, or a larger one. My recommendation would be to go with the 5-year option. These buses come with a 3-year warranty or a 5-year warranty. There's a $2,000 difference in price between a 3-year and a 5-year, so it's, from our chair, pretty much a no-brainer to get the 5-year warranty on it with the extra $2,000. In terms of that aspect of things, but leasing would probably be the most attractive option right now. It is, from our aspect of things, there's no mileage limitations. They are built to be leased to own essentially. So at the end of the lease term, we'd be able to buy the bus for really $1 is what the balloon payment is. So essentially we own it, and we would be interested in buying that bus from the aspect of we anticipate that bus would then go into our fleet, our daily driver fleet for the last part of its life. Usually we get about 5-ish years beyond what we have. That's what we think. So from a financial standpoint, it gives us a little bit less capital outlay right away, so that helps with the budget. And as Art alluded to, we have 4 buses that we really need to work to replace as quickly as possible from the diesel side of things, because we know that we just don't want to keep putting money into buses that we eventually will have to let go. They won't pass inspection. So we're kind of in that rough boat where they are safe, they go down the road, but when they go down the road, they do typically cost us money. And we want to be able to get to a point where we can get rid of those eventually and still have the means to have a spare bus in the event that one goes down. It comes in for our monthly maintenance schedule. There's just things that happen. Are there questions I can answer or Art can answer for you about this?
The current trip buses, if we replace them, are they of any use to us, any value to us keeping them?
So we would look to replace them with yellow buses and then put them back up to the surplus auction and see what we can get out of it.
So back on the aftermarket.
I don't think they would serve a role for us internally. They can't go into routes because they're not having the right, they're not the right color one, have all the requirements of a route bus. Then we want to begin to think what it would take to try to get up to that. To be honest with you, it would be, in my opinion, money well spent to make those a daily driver.
Do we use those for field trips or is it just for high school?
You'd have to answer. I don't believe we've used those for field trips.
It all depends how many students, when they call and say that we have a trip, it's dependent how many students they say are going on the trip. Now, if we're taking high school to Ashland for one of their open houses, then yeah, we could take 2 white buses for that. They're gonna have some value to them. Really, even if we get these yellow buses, now we're probably talking March or April before we get them.
Right.
So we're going to use the white buses through the school year, but then they are going to have some value more than our yellow ones that we're trying to get rid of. So hopefully at that time, without a minimum, they should do okay.
There was some interest though.
We did have interest on the first, we went on the auction site twice and talked to the board about, it didn't meet the reserves, but it was close. Within a few $1,000s on each bus.
Cody, I'm interested in the long-term strategy here. So you can speak up, but what I heard you say is we'd like to buy 2 this year. And then also heard you say that we have a need to replace some of these diesel buses. And I'm guessing some of the existing propane would be served as spares, right? But can you talk a little bit more? So what can this board anticipate or expect in the future, I guess?
So Art and I have talked, and the mechanics down there, Mark Mignot and Isaac Samar, we've chatted a lot about this, and Art can chime in if you want to, Art, but in a perfect world, we're replacing probably on a 2-1 split, 2 1 year, 1 the next year, in terms of that aspect of things, try to keep our fleet kind of up to date. We're in the boat we're in because we bought 6 buses approximately 10 plus years ago under an energy efficiency exemption, which was great, right? That's, that we used that program at that time to meet this need. The struggle moving forward now is that program is no longer here. So we're trying to figure out, I'd love to say, yep, we got the capital outlay to put down. Right now, propane buses are probably $140,000 plus a year. I don't have that kind of capital at the moment to say that we've got to do 6 buses to replace these ones that we're trying to piece together. So moving forward, what I'm looking at from a budgetary standpoint is that every year we're going to have to invest either in buying outright, leasing is an actually attractive option to try to have not the big capital outlay, or borrowing to try to backfill the need here. And then my goal is to stay up current with it and not hopefully just kick this can down the road. Then another 8 years, we're trying to figure out, okay, now we got to come up with a big chunk of change to replace 4 or 5 buses. It is a fixed cost for us. We know that we're going to have to transport our students. Our buses last us on average 10 years, give or take. And it's not the transmissions, it's not the engines, it's the rust that gets in. I believe we're always going to have road salt around here, at least as far as I know.
What's the oldest propane bus? How close are you?
You'd have to tell me that one.
I just don't want to get this wrong. Our oldest ones are probably about 20, I would say about 2018 right now. They should have been rotated already into sub buses. But like you say, with the 2012, we're already 2 years past. They should have been gone by now. So we should have, at this point, we should have had some of the first propane should have been sub buses right now.
Rotated in. So it is a short answer is it's an ongoing issue that this is.
But I
not-
heard you say it's 2-1. It's kind of.
That's kind of,
split.
in a perfect situation, that'll allow us to start to turn the fleet over to be much more manageable from a service.
Yeah, what I'm trying to recall from the budget, it was approved here and saying, how does that 2 bus purchase align with that plan?
So the budget that was approved was, I had $275,000 as a capital item.
So it was 275.
Yep, which actually is a little short on what the 2 buses would cost us out if we were to buy them. The leasing option gives us the opportunity to extend those dollars and try to. We will still apply for grants that are out there. There are some clean bus grants that are available to us. We apply for them. They're mostly built for electric buses, to be completely honest with you, but propane does fall underneath that category for, it's roughly a $30,000 rebate per bus. We're still going to chase that, and hopefully get it. That'll help offset the cost that we have too. But
For the
propane,
next round, though, because you're talking gases right now.
we are talking, yeah, this is solving an issue that we know is coming at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And as Art alluded to, the white buses will still be in service because we're not, I mean, we could say yes tonight at the board meeting, they're not showing up for, I'd say 4 months, 6 months.
I'd say 6 months.
So, and we anticipated that, knowing that, you just don't go down to the lot and go grab 2 of them, unfortunately.
So Cody, since this is If you already made those approvals of the budget, this is just a discussion at this point. There's no action in these voting, right?
No, this is just me being transparent with the transportation committee. We will, vote that this is the route that we want to go. We want to lease, we want to purchase outright. My recommendation is to lease to try to help them with the capital outlay that we have, knowing that down the road, we're gonna have to continue to address this issue, right? This isn't a, one-time deal and we're done. I would say if that was the case, purchasing the mill outright and being done with it, great, let's do it. But we know that this is an ongoing issue that we have to continue to address. Hopefully over the course of the next 2-3 years, we're in a much better boat where the bus fleet is where we feel more comfortable with it. And not kind of getting an eight ball with it. Like I said, it was great when we could buy 6 of them at once under an energy efficiency exemption. That tool is no longer available to us, so I've got to, along with Art, try to figure out how to be creative without affecting our day-to-day operations as best as we possibly can.
So in like a perfect world, if these buses were, if we had rotation, the buses coming, there'd be 14 route buses and then like 2 spares, and then plus the 2 activity buses. That would be like the number you're thinking, something like that.
In a perfect world, if we had 15 route buses, you should have 5 spares.
Oh.
That is the number statewide for the calculation. So we're already under that number right now. That's why, like he said, if we could get these buses, they could in a pinch drive a regular route.
It gives us a little bit of breathing room in the event that we have to. Just like that.
Or can I put you on the spot? If you know the answer, that's fine. So of our 14 route buses, roughly what capacity are we at? Like on, let's say, a morning route, for example?
As far as students on it,
Yeah, are we jam packing these things full, or are we got a lot of space?
I'll be totally honest with you right now. We eliminated a route, which I anticipated was going to load our buses.
Yeah.
We are still running half,
Okay, so I was curious.
which is very surprising to me that to eliminate a whole route. And I have to look at cameras once in a while, and I'm very surprised. The low ridership on it.
So we have a lot of parents that are transporting kids.
Extremely a lot.
And we should be thankful for that because it's really helping us out.
Oh, there's no doubt about it.
I mean, you show up before school, and a lot of people get dropped off.
We have very busy parking lots, both at the beginning and end of the day. That I will say. Any other questions we can answer for you? So, like I said, I guess when we bring it to the board, I don't know, Maya, if you want to kind of give a synopsis, but my recommendation is we would do a 5-year lease to purchase these 2 buses. And the reason why is that gives us a little more capital outlay to try to address in the coming year, potentially if we hear back on the grants that we applied for. I'm not holding my breath, but I'm hopeful that we might be able to come back and say, okay, we've got a grant here, let's move forward on trying to fix another issue. Those would be propane buses that would be going into the daily driver fleet.
Okay, I think I'm good.
Yeah, I support that. Yeah, consensus.
All right. Well, if we're at a consensus, I think we're good to motion to adjourn this meeting.
Make that motion.
Second.
All in favor? Meeting is adjourned.